These men built empires with armies. Some conquered half the world. Some never lost a single battle. This is the definitive ranking of history's greatest military commanders. The top 10. No commander on this list started from a position of strength. Alexander's father was killed at his own daughter's wedding. Alexander became king that same afternoon. Napoleon was not French. He came from Corsica, an island that had only just become French the year he was born. He spent 30 years proving he belonged. Genghis Khan's father was poisoned when he was 9. His own tribe abandoned his family on the open steppe. He survived. Then he came back. Hannibal's father brought him to a fire altar at age 9 and made him swear an oath to hate Rome forever. He kept it for the rest of his life. Khalid ibn al-Walid fought his very first battle on the wrong side. He lost. He switched sides. He never lost again. Subutai grew up herding animals on the open steppe. No formal education, no maps. He kept everything in his head. He became the greatest military planner in history and never once lost a battle. Timur walked with a limp from an old wound. His soldiers called him Timur the Lame. The people he conquered used different words. Belisarius reconquered half the old Roman Empire, and his own emperor removed him from command twice out of jealousy. Wellington, 1,000 years later, was the opposite. He never moved until every detail was ready. Then he struck. Saladin and Richard the Lionheart fought each other for 2 years without ever meeting in person. When Richard fell sick with fever, Saladin sent him ice and fresh fruit. Richard called him the finest gentleman he had ever heard of. Yi Sun Sin was arrested and tortured by his own government before the Japanese fleet attacked Korea. When the fleet destroyed everything, Korea came back to him on its knees. For 20 years, his stepmother ruled Egypt, and Thutmose waited. When she died, he had 30 years left, and he used every single one. He fought 17 campaigns. He lost none. Attila offered to stop attacking if Rome paid him enough gold. Rome paid, but never enough. He always came back. Pyrrhus won every battle he fought against Rome, but he lost men faster than Rome did. After his second victory, he said, "One more win like this, and we are finished." People still call it a Pyrrhic victory today. Baibars was sold into slavery as a child and traded across 3 countries. He became a soldier, then a general, then a sultan. Then he beat the Mongols in open battle, one of the very few people in history who managed that. Alp Arslan offered peace before the Battle of Manzikert. The Byzantine emperor refused. By the end of that afternoon, the emperor was Alp Arslan's prisoner. Athens had beaten Sparta at sea for 20 years. Lysander watched every defeat and found one pattern. The Athenians were careless with their ships. At Aigospotamoi, they beached their fleet and walked away to find food. He attacked. The war ended that afternoon. Tariq ibn Ziyad burned his own boats after crossing to Iberia. His soldiers had no way back. They went forward. Tran Hung Jiao wrote a letter to his soldiers before the second Mongol invasion of Vietnam. He told them, "If you want to surrender, kill me first." They chose to fight. They won. Tokugawa Ieyasu had his own wife and firstborn son executed on the orders of a more powerful warlord. He waited 20 years. When Sekigahara came, several enemy generals had already secretly agreed to switch sides before the battle started. He had arranged it. Henry V prayed the night before Agincourt and walked personally along every line of soldiers in the morning. John Žižka lost his second eye in battle at 50, had himself carried to every battlefield in a wagon, and never once lost. Before Maurice, every soldier loaded his weapon differently and fired at a different time. He wrote down 11 exact steps: load, aim, fire, in perfect sequence, and drilled it until it was automatic. Every army in the world still uses what he built. Wallenstein raised the largest army in Central Europe and paid for it himself. The emperor needed him and feared him in equal measure. Fear won. The emperor had him murdered. Tilly went undefeated for 25 years. He lost everything when he faced Gustavus Adolphus at Breitenfeld. He died of his wounds 2 months later, still unable to understand what had happened. Eugene of Savoy applied to the French army first. Louis XIV said no, too small, too weak. Eugene joined the Habsburgs and spent 50 years humiliating France. Hayreddin Barbarossa started his career as a pirate and ended it as the most feared admiral in the Mediterranean. Nelson put his telescope to his blind eye when ordered to retreat at Copenhagen. He said he saw no signal to stop. He kept fighting. He won. Russia's Baltic fleet had sailed halfway around the world to reach Tsushima. The crew was exhausted. The ships were dirty and slow. Togo had waited 7 months. He crossed their line, opened fire, and 2 days later, Russia had almost no navy left. Massena held besieged Genoa for 2 months, while his soldiers ate leather. Napoleon arrived just in time. Davout was the only marshal Napoleon completely trusted. He received the most dangerous assignments with the fewest soldiers. He always came back. Ney charged 18 times at Waterloo and had his horse shot from under him 5 times. He finished the battle on foot, alone. Kutuzov fell asleep in military meetings. His officers thought he was finished. He gave Moscow to Napoleon without a fight and waited for winter to do the work. Pilsudski was in a Russian prison when World War I ended. He walked out in 1918 and rebuilt a nation. Grant was so calm during battles that his own staff found it unsettling. He never looked worried. He just won. Jackson prayed before every battle and ate lemons all day long. He was strange, quiet, and difficult to work with, but he moved his corps faster than anyone thought possible. Union commanders received reports placing him in 3 different states on the same day. He was already somewhere else, behind them. Moltke the Elder kept his orders to 3 sentences. He told his officers the goal and let them decide the method. He called it mission command. Every army in the world uses it today. Rommel was always at the front during the France campaign, always ahead of his own supply lines. His superiors ordered him to slow down. He ignored them. Manstein's plan to attack through the Ardennes was rejected twice. Hitler approved it on the 3rd attempt. France fell in 6 weeks. Zhukov argued with Stalin in 1941 and was removed from command. 3 weeks later, Stalin brought him back because Moscow was about to fall. Chuikov told his soldiers to press so close to the Germans that German artillery would hit their own men if it fired. Montgomery refused to move before he was completely ready. At El Alamein, he waited until he had twice Rommel's men and twice his tanks. Then he hit him once, hard, in one coordinated assault, and did not stop. Giap told his soldiers the war against America could last 20 years. He was not warning them. He was predicting. He was right. Yamamoto warned the Japanese government that attacking America was a strategic mistake. He was overruled. He planned Pearl Harbor anyway, and then predicted exactly what would happen next. He was right about that too. Yamashita had fewer soldiers than the British garrison at Singapore. He sent a message implying he had far more troops than he did. The British commander surrendered 85,000 men. Zhuge Liang once sat on a city wall playing music, while an army of 150,000 men stood below. The enemy commander decided it was a trap. He left. It was. Every warlord before Nobunaga used the same tactics: cavalry, personal honor, close combat. At Nagashino, Nobunaga's peasant gunners fired in rotating volleys behind wooden barricades. 3,000 cavalry charged his line. Almost none came back. The old Japan died that afternoon. Hideyoshi was born with no family name. In Japan at that time, your name was your rank. He earned one from the emperor himself, with 30 years of victories. Takeda Shingen and his great rival Uesugi Kenshin fought on the same battlefield 4 times. Neither man ever won decisively. When Shingen ran short of salt, Kenshin sent him some. He refused to win by starvation. Chandragupta Maurya met Alexander the Great as a young man and studied how his army worked. He used those lessons to build his own empire. Shivaji escaped from the Mughal emperor's palace, hidden in a basket of fruit, walked back to the mountains, and started again. Toussaint Louverture learned to read at age 40. He studied Caesar's campaigns like a textbook. Crazy Horse never allowed a single photograph. No confirmed image of him exists. The Senate gave Pompey 3 years to clear the Mediterranean of pirates. He divided the sea into zones, placed a fleet in each zone at the same time, and drove every pirate toward one final trap. Done in 40 days. He gave the survivors land and farms. Almost none went back to piracy. Trajan was the first Roman emperor born outside Italy, from Spain. His soldiers loved him because he ate the same food and slept in the same tents they did. Arminius had served in the Roman army. He spoke Latin. He knew exactly how Roman legions marched and set their camp. He used that knowledge to destroy 3 of them in one ambush. El Cid was exiled by his own king twice and kept winning anyway. Skanderbeg fought for the Ottomans for 20 years before switching sides. He knew their commanders personally and used it against them for 25 more. Yue Fei was weeks from final victory when his own emperor ordered him to stop, then had him arrested and executed. China lost everything he had won. Tipu Sultan designed military rockets, spoke 5 languages, and sent ambassadors across the world searching for allies against the British. No one came. When the walls of Seringapatam fell, he walked to the breach himself. He was found there the next morning. Ataturk told his soldiers at Gallipoli, "I am not ordering you to attack. I am ordering you to die, long enough for the next line of men to arrive." They died. the line held. 101 commanders. Every single one changed something.